Hey, hey, Keita J. Ow. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's Keita J. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Keita J is in the house, y'all. I hope I'm not echoing. I hope I'm not. What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are having a lovely, lovely, lovely day because I am, okay? And let's get to it, okay? I hope y'all having a wonderful, lovely, wonderful, lovely, lovely day. Tomorrow is Friday. We can get down with the get down tomorrow. So that's how we going to do it. I'm back. I'm in my good spirit, y'all. I'm in my good spirit. You know, last week I told y'all some things that happened in my family, and we only do that on the Keita J Reveal show. We don't release that nowhere else. Only on the Keita J Reveal show. If you want to find out what's going on in Keita J's life, we only reveal it here. So, I'm going to just say, I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. Yes. So, like I said, let's get to it. I don't have a special guest today, but I will be having a special guest here and there. If you guys want to be on the Keita J Reveal show, you always can send us an email at existinnature.com. existinnature@yahoo.com. And we don't even have the information up here so that you can see who we are and what we do, okay? Let's start off with my weekend, y'all. I always start the show off with the weekend. I always got to tell y'all what was going on my weekend, okay? So I want to tell you, and my neighbor, y'all, I got to cough and laugh at the same time. My neighbor. Let me tell y'all about my neighbor. So I have a Yorkshire, right? A little Yorkshire dog. My neighbor loves dogs. She doesn't have any kids, but she loves dogs, right? So she, you know, she was married before. She and her husband divorced. Her husband told me not to tell her, but he told me that she cheated on him, you know. And I was just like, oh, wow, why is he telling me this? You know, one day we were talking over the phone. He called me and he said, hey, yeah, she cheated on me, this, that, and the other. I was like, oh, okay. You know, she cheated on you. And then he said, yeah, I looked through her phone. I thought I had my phone, but I picked up her phone by accident. And I looked at it and it was her kissing a guy, a picture of her kissing another guy, right? And then he tells me, don't tell her. I'm like, why would I tell your wife that? Like, I don't have a relationship with your wife. So why would I'm not all up in y'all business, right? I don't do that. So they had about 4 dogs when we first moved here. You know, almost all of them passed away. Almost all of them. She said one of the dogs that used to live over here was the neighbor's dog that she has. This is the only dog that she has left. I have a Yorkshire. She loves my dog. From time to time, I would find little water bowls or whatever on my side, like if it was too hot outside. And I'm wondering, you know, she would knock on my door and say, hey, it's too hot outside. I don't think your dog should be out here. I think you should mind your business, lady. I really do. But, you know, trying to be a nice neighbor, I would say, oh, okay, you know, well, bring the dog inside. Then there's another time, you know, calls me, oh, it's raining outside. Your dog is outside. I'm like, okay. So how many times can somebody take of that? Where your neighbor is constantly in your business, constantly worrying about your dog. Every now and then she calling you, telling you this about your dog, knocking on the door about your dog. Well, she comes over my house. Well, first we were talking about the dog. And she was like, oh, if you don't want, you know, you don't want your dog, I'm looking for a small dog. So if you don't mind, you know, you could give me your dog. And I said, you know, we were talking and I said, you know what, I might be traveling some. So I don't know, you know, my dog is like 10 years old. I've had her since she was a puppy. I love my dog. I had to tell her, I love my dog. It's not like I want to give my dog away, but if I'm traveling too much or whatever, and I don't have family to care for her, then yes, I probably would give her away. And she's like, hey, I'm open, so then my dog was outside the next day. She comes to knock on my door while she's taking her dog for a walk. She's knocking on my door and saying, oh, don't forget that I would buy your dog. So it's not like I have to give it to her. She's like, I would buy your dog. And I said, oh, well, I love my dog, so it's not like I want to give my dog away. And she said, no, I'm just saying, if you wanted to ever think about selling her, I, wouldn't mind having her. So then she comes off and says, it's cold outside. The dog, and I said, okay, it's cold outside. She said, yeah, the dog is outside. I said, oh, no, I'm thinking she's inside because I know some guys just came to cut my grass. And I said, oh, she's outside. I said, oh, yeah, she is outside. I just let her back out. So she's like, it's cold out here. I don't think she should be outside. I said, look, this is my dog, okay? I love my dog like you love your dogs. And this is my dog, and she's fine. You don't have to worry about her. You don't have to worry about my dog, boo. Okay? Stop worrying about my dog. Worry about your dog. So next time I'm gonna get her. She said, okay. She walks away. But see, that's kind of the stuff that people have to deal with in certain neighborhoods. Like, okay, I'm cool with my neighbors, but sometimes you get that one neighbor that's just, oh, you want to strangle them. Sometimes they don't show that side of them right away. Sometimes, it takes something for it to come out, and I think we as people, we have to have judgment. We have to have judgment within ourselves, discernment, people that we can deal with, that we know feel inside that there's a vibe that I'm feeling about this person. Something is off. Something is not right. And I'm not saying off as if, you had mental illness or what have you, but I'm saying there are people that are truly not in tune with themselves. And we all are bipolar. We all have our own little issues. We all have ups and downs, mental illness, hot, cold, whatever that we go through. But there are just some people that you just feel this person's a sociopath or psychopath. Something's going on with them, but we don't pay attention to that. So we have to, this is what the show is going to be about today, paying attention, having discernment, tapping into your judgment and your sixth sense, because a lot of times we feel things, but we don't follow through with what we're feeling. We allow people to just jump all over us. And I'm an empath. I will tell people I'm an empath. I've said this before, maybe on the show, maybe not. I'll get into that later. But that's my weekend. Of course, still growing my green vegetables, still doing that kind of thing, and enjoying life. But sometimes we allow people to take our energy, or they're dumping their energy onto us. And we have to be careful of that. We have to learn when to walk away. What they say, you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to walk away. You got to know when to run. You got to count your money when you're sitting at the table. Count off the top, and when the feeling's done. So that's what we have to learn how to do. We have to, as people, we have to learn to tap in, okay, to our energy flow. Tap into discernment. Tap in, okay, the better judgment for us. What's good for you, what's not good for you. Are people draining you? Why are people draining you? Are you allowing them to drain you? Like I said, I'm going to talk about that a little later. Okay, so I got a few things to share with you guys, because if you know me, I'm into health. I'm into exercising. I've been doing my yoga stretches, you guys. I'm getting really good at the yoga. Woo-wee! Oh, stretching. I'm almost back to my handstand. I'll be able to use my own weight, my own hands to push my weight. The calisthenics, as they say. I'll be able to do that soon. I'm working on that. And that's very good for the body. That's good, very good for the brain as well, and the gut. So we, talk about the gut. We work on those things as well for our body. Everything I feel like for you, do it for you. Don't do it for nobody else. Oh, y'all can't see my finger. Don't do it for nobody else. Do it for you. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because you feeling good about it. Not because somebody else wants you to feel that way. Nobody should do things for anybody. Okay, do it because you feel like you want to do it. All right. Now let's talk about some of this stuff that we eat, right? Because I know we all eat our junk food. We all eat things that are semi unhealthy for us. I do. I sometimes, every once in a while, not too much. I've cut down on my pounds. As y'all can see, my face getting slimmer, coming back. Okay, so I'm feeling good about that. But we have some things that I want to share with you about eating. Okay, what are we eating now? What are some of the things that we can cut back on that is dangerous for our body, right? So we have this right here with Subway and the news, right? A lot of times Google does not give us information that we need to know. Not on the front page, not on the second page. So we have to flow throughout Google to find certain things that are more appealing to what we should know, and not just following through just because, just what everybody else is watching on Facebook, everybody else is sharing. We have to dig deeper into Google and find out what's going on, right? So, all right. As you can see, Subway. Excuse me, y'all. Subway. Let's make that big. Okay, look at this. Look at this from Subway. So we got, they say the bread is too sugary at Subway. Can you really call it Subway bread? Can you call it bread? It's too much sugar in the bread, for one. They said they use so much sugar in the bread, it could cause so many issues for you. So some of the other countries are starting to ask Subway if they can use less sugar when they're baking their bread, or they're going to have to remove Subway from their country, because if the bread is too much sugar, a lot of them don't, some countries like India or maybe Africa, I don't even know if Subway's in Africa, I'm quite sure it might be, who knows. But they say some people are lactose intolerant, and you have to be careful of the sugar intake. The sugar intake, it says sugar can cause health problems. Of course, we know that. A lot of us hear about sugar, so much sugar, eating too much candy is not good for you. Most of us are familiar with aggravations of the body system that develops into type 2 diabetes. But lactose intolerance also involves sugar. So we have to be careful with that sugar intake that, we are, encountering with our body, and make sure that you're taking care, like I said, make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Look at some of the ingredients of the stuff that you're eating. Sometimes that stuff is definitely not good for us, but we tend to still want to eat it because the taste is good, but it's not good for us internally. Okay, here's another thing I want to share. And then we're going to get to this discernment stuff, right, that we need to be talking about. So another thing I want to share is about the toxic water. So I can't remember where it was, but I was reading an article on, I think it's Live Science or something like that. And they were talking about the animals, over 350 elephants since March. And the article I think came out in September. But since March, there's been 350 elephants that, well, yeah, 350 elephants that uh, some type of brain disease in the water. So and this is in another country. So you know, eventually, if you're in the U.S., this is going to flow to the U.S. too. So right now, I found out it's already in the U.S. We already know that we have toxic water because the chemicals that are being flushed down the toilet, all of that good stuff, you know, was not really good, but it's bad. So it says a study reports that a class of synthetic chemicals called PFAS, which have links to cancer and other health issues, are nearly ubiquitous in surface waters across the United States. So manufacturers use the chemicals known as per and whatever that is, poly something. I'm not even going to attempt to say that word because I don't know what it is. Substance of PFAS, and that's what it stands for. But to make coatings that resist heat, oil, stains, and water. They apply these materials to various products, including clothing, furniture, food, packaging, non-stick cookware, and dental floss. So that's another thing. We have to be careful about the dental floss that you're using. And you have to also be careful about these non-stick pans that we're using. I only use a cast iron skillet, okay? When I cook my food, I only use a cast iron skillet for my food or a stainless steel pan, because reason being, there's so many toxins. And my daughter, she's an aspired chef. You know, she wants to go to school for cooking and all that stuff. But I only use those types of pans. And glass is good too if you want to use glass. But you know, years ago, just reading articles about the certain cookware that we use, which is definitely not good for our bodies, and that releases so many chemicals that all of that stuff is in our food, and we're not even realizing that this stuff is in our food. It's definitely there. So we have to be careful for even the food. I mean, the like they say, the dental floss, the non-stick pans that we like to use, and many other things. The water that we're drinking, like I have a distiller in my house. I use a water distiller. Some people have the osmosis machines that they use. You know, you can find those little Brita things. Those don't work. You know, anything that's really cheap most likely is not going to work for you. So if we're trying to go the cheap route for everything, we have to be careful, you know, the stuff that we are inviting into our bodies, because it's definitely not good. You go to a lot of these foreign countries, they're using different stuff, different style, even the aluminum and all that stuff is not good for us. So if you want to take care of your health, you know, a lot of us crying about, you got to wear a mask, you got to wear a mask. Oh Lord, let me talk about that. You trying to date somebody and this person is so in fear about having a freaking mask on. You're not having a mask on. You need to wear your mask. You go to the ATM. You got to wear a mask. You got to wear a mask if you step out the car door. You have to wear a mask. Look, I'm not a fan of the mask scare. I'm just not. I mean, wear your mask in places that you need to wear it, but I'm just not one. You got to wear it every single place you go. Like you're not even with a crowd and people are like, you need to wear a mask. You need to wear a mask. And you're looking like a freaking Frankenstein talking about people need to wear a mask. Like you just freaking scared of everything. But let me tell you, people are so afraid of not wearing a mask, but you having unprotected sex with people. Okay, you having unprotected sex, but you the main one hollering, you need to wear a mask. You need to put on a mask. But you having unprotected sex with somebody that you barely even know. The same people freaking out. Oh, you need to put on your mask. You need to put on your mask when you go in the store. You need to put on your mask when you're around a crowd. But you should not have to wear a mask. You know, if you're going to a little ATM machine You stepping out the car, you got to put gloves on. Like, people are so frantic now. It's so ridiculous. No, I need to breathe. I don't need to wear a mask. Forget what you're talking about. So if you that afraid and you feel like everybody needs to have on a mask and gloves and all that kind of stuff, you can't even use your own discernment. Let's get into the topic, using discernment. Hey, Romello, how are you? I was on your page the other day, Romello. I was on your no blue robe, Romello. Not right now. Maybe when I get out the shower, when I step out. Woohoo! But everybody's so frantic about this mask stuff. But like I said, they keep having unprotected sex with people. You wanna, you barely know somebody, but you okay with having unprotected sex. You ain't masking that. You ain't masking what's between your legs, but you want to mask your mouth. And you want to keep yourself from breathing, and you want to wear masks everywhere, even got a mask on in the car. You driving by yourself with a mask. You can't even breathe. It freaks me out how people think. How people think. Like, what do you don't have no thinking skills, no constructive thinking skills whatsoever. You so busy freaked out about a mask, wearing it in the store. I get. Yes, I do. If you're around a crowd of people, yes, I get. If you're that scared, stay home. You shouldn't be that tripped out over somebody not wearing a mask, but you out in crowds of people. That stay home. Go home. What's the big deal? And the thing is, no, I don't live in New York. No, I don't. I don't live in New York City. Remember, I'm still the same place where I was, right? But I'm just saying, I just, it's like, and then you have these zombies that watch the news all day long. Like, who can watch the news? The news is freaking giving you false. I'm not going to say all the news is false. The news is giving you what they want you to know. The news is not giving you information that you need to have. You have to, as I said earlier, you have to go search for information to find it for yourself. Yes, they will have articles out there full of stuff warning you of things. You just like I found that toxic water article. Do you see any of that on the front news? Heck no, you won't find that. People have to learn to use their sixth senses. They have to learn to use their own discernment. They have to learn to use the things that the universe is giving you. The universe gives us things. We have to tap into those particular things. And I don't see why it's so hard for some, I guess I can, because some people just are not available for that yet, and I can't be mad at those folks, because I'm sure I was once somewhat that person. I'm an empath. I feel energy. I can tell when I'm getting drained from someone. I can tell when I need to walk away from somebody. I can tell, and I'm not going to say in my early years. I'm 45 years old. I'll be 46 in December. Hey, I'm happy about that. I look damn good. Thank you very much. But I just don't get how people are so captured by certain information. Like, you love the false rhetoric, or you love, the spread of information, like the information that people spread. We don't go and look things up for ourselves. We often go off of what we hear, and without any study of our own. You have to research things for yourself and find some of these things out, if they're true, if they're not true. Sometimes you get feelings. If you pay attention to some people, you look them in the eye. Like, you know what I'm saying? You look somebody in the eye, you might be like, man, that dude lying, or that girl lying. They lying. Just by looking somebody in the eye. Sometimes, have you ever sat there and listened to somebody tell you a story, and you just listen to the whole story, and you be like, something don't sound right. It's something missing in the story. Like, it don't make sense. And then later on down the line, this person is giving you a part of what they want you to know. They're leaving out the details. You know, when people, you can tell when you have tapped in to to the universe. I say the universe is powerful. There are things that have happened to me in my life, and I just be like, I'm like a zombie, because I'm like, I don't even know how this is happening right before my eyes. Sometimes things happen and I might not know why it's happening at that particular time, but eventually it's happening. You know, eventually it starts to break itself down in front of me, and I'm like, man, that's what was happening. That I didn't realize that. I can tell you a particular time. My grandmother, my grandmother was in the hospital. Well, I was in a hospital with a friend of mine. Well, a co-worker. She was a co-worker of mine. Co-worker was standing in front of me in the office. She smelled like she had been drinking a bit much, okay, on the job. Well, off the job, but on the job, smelling like she had been drinking a bit much, okay. I turn around and I look, and right before my eyes, before she even did it, I saw her fall out. I saw her. I saw her right in front of me. It was like, oh, damn, I just saw that. And I'm telling my coworkers when she fell out, I said, I just saw her fall out in front of me. It's hard to explain that to people. It's hard to tell people things that you see. It's hard. It's hard. Sometimes people just don't believe what you're saying. So it's hard. Like certain things that we feel, we hear, we see, we tell people. And I'm like, man, I don't want to come off crazy to this person, because you know everybody's crazy. We can be good crazy or bad crazy. Okay. I'm the good crazy. Okay. But you will find people that will do stuff in front of you. You already saw it. Premonitions is what they call it. So there's a premonition that you saw right before it happened. I saw before my eyes this woman fall down, and it freaked me out. And she fell down right after I saw her and fainted on the floor. We had to go with her. The guy, the manager where I worked at the time, he told me, he said, hey, we need you to go with her to the hospital. So I go with her to the hospital. And as I'm in the hospital with her, I see in the emergency room, they're rolling in my grandmother. I'm looking like, wait a minute, because I was just in the room with her. I was just talking to my coworker, and I see them rolling in my grandmother. And as I'm standing there, I'm like, is that my grandmother? I mean, it felt like I was being led by an angel. Like this angel was literally carrying me and showing me the way. Like, this is what's happening in the world. That's what I felt like. I felt like somebody was taking me and showing me something. You know how in the movies where you see the angel and they showing you what your life looked like or whatever? I felt like that. I felt like somebody was guiding me. So I see my grandmother, they're strolling her into the emergency room. And as she's coming in, you know, she's just like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And then they take her in a room, and I'm still standing there baffled, like, is that my grandmother? Is that my grandmother? Is that my in my head, I was just so stuck. I'm like, is that my grandmother? Is that my grandmother? And then all of a sudden I walked in the room where the doctors are like moving. She's still saying she can't breathe. She can't breathe. She can't breathe. And I'm like, grandma, grandma, grandma. So I was like, that's my grandma. I'm telling, the doctor. So I was so freaked out that I walked out of the emergency room and I walked into the lobby, and I saw her nurse. I said, are you here with, my grandmother? Her name is such and such. So the lady was like, yeah, she was telling me she can't breathe. I said, that's my grandmother. I said, so odd. And I did not understand. I still to this day do not understand what that meant, because it was like timing, perfect timing. We're coming from two different locations. It was almost like, how did I end up seeing her? How did we end up crossing paths? And, like I said, to this day, I still don't understand how I saw, I ended up seeing her. I ended up meeting her. There's been other things that happened in my life. I remember one time I was looking, I said I wanted to work somewhere. Yeah, I had just drove past that place. And I was like, I wonder what it would be like to work here. And all of a sudden, I think within the next month, there was a temp agency. I had no idea that that was the place where the job was. The temp agency called me. I had applied for a job. Temp agency called me. I talked to the lady, interviewed over the phone and everything, went into interview with the place. I was so shocked that it was the same place that I had said, I wonder what it's like to work here. You ever been driving up the street and your car, you're staring at your indicator light on your vehicle and you're just looking at it like thinking that it's going to come on, and all of a sudden it comes on and you're like, what the? I was just looking at this. So, there's a lot of things that happen in some of our lives. I see numbers all the time. I probably should not be saying a lot of this stuff out loud. I see numbers all the time in synchronicity. I see, it's like 5 for 5. I always see my birthday. There's a lot of things that I see, and I understand. One time, this guy went to there was a meeting. I'm into healing, and I have my Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I went to this meeting. They were doing healing work or what have you, or just talking about healing work. And so I go into the place, and the guy was saying, somebody come to the front, if you have anything that you want to ask or what have you. So I go to the front, and he asked me to open up my hand, and I opened up my hand, and he looked at he said, "You are a healer." And I said, "Really?" He said, "You are a healer." And that made me think about some of maybe the relationships you've had, some of the encounters with people. Like, I think I sometimes attract people that people do really well with me because I think I know how to handle. I've always heard you know how to handle people. Are you a therapist, or you are this or that? I'm just very calm with people, and I try to understand where people are coming from. I'm not a judgmental person. You have people that are very judgmental, and where they come from and their history of where they come from. You always have to question everybody. You question everything they do. I could say people come from different cultures. We don't understand each other. And sometimes people often think because they come from a certain culture that is well liked, that they have the upper hand on someone else because of maybe the culture. And it's like no, we can all stand to learn things from one another. Like, don't think because you come from a certain culture or background that you are better than somebody, or you have the upper hand, on things, or you can make sound decisions on things. No, we're all here together. We can learn from one another. It's not, and you don't think sometimes no better than the next person. You may have better strategies. You may have better ways of communicating things. Because some people are not very good at communicating. They can do the work. People can do the work, but you have people that are real strategic with the way that they speak, and they come off a certain way, and people will probably gravitate towards them. We think about pastors. When you look at pastors come off, not all of them, but most. They have the way of, having the voice and the I forget what they call it, but it's the yeah, today we gonna, that's how pastors relate to people. You get people to follow you based on how you sound, how you communicate, your intellect, the way people speak. But it still does not mean that you discredit people that can do the work. There are people out here that can do the work. There are people out here that are very artistic. We're artistic in our own ways, and just because someone does not say things the way that you want them to say it, or it doesn't come off a certain way. And if it does come off in a way where it's alarming to you, you should be able to communicate that with somebody. Because if you don't communicate with people on those issues that you have with them, then that means that you're just as bad as they are. And it doesn't mean that we have to get all emotional about how we see things. As long as no one is cursing you out, as long as they're not beating your behind, we can learn. We can, like I said, we can stand to learn things from each other. There are things that we can learn from each other. And I think sometimes we let degrees, we let people in higher places, people with money, we let all those people in those particular circles get away with certain things because of what they have and what they display. And having your own, you're using your discernment, not because somebody has money, using your sixth senses, using your artistic abilities, allowing the universe to give you, the magic and releasing your superpower. And I just feel like a lot of us, we can learn to release our superpowers if we tap into the right things. We got to tap in. First, we got to grab a hand. First, we got to learn how to service people. We got to learn how to service animals. We have to learn how to treat each other. And if we don't learn how to do those things, we are going to be a lost cause in the world. I always look at things like, it feels good for me to give someone that's in need. It's been many a times I've given people stuff, and you don't look for it back, but you always want to know, damn, I know something coming. I know something coming, but you want to know, when is it coming? Because I know I have the magic already. I know I have I'm living in my truth already. I'm doing what the universe has told me to do. I'm hearing things, I'm dreaming things. I'm listening to my crystal bowls at night. I'm classical music, all of that good stuff. I'm tapping in already. When I know it's coming. I know it's coming. So you have to be ready. I could say I've been at times I didn't have it, the money, to do certain things, but it came to me, and I say, as people learn how to service someone, learn how to service things, learn how to take care of something. If you have a plant in your house, take care of it. If you have a puppy, take care of it. A dog, if you have a child, take care of it. Take good care, because things like that will appreciate you eventually. And not only those things, other things will. And learn how to tap into, like I said, your sixth senses, because you never know who needs you. You never know who you need. You might need somebody. People come into our lives for a reason, for a season. I've been there where people have come into my life, and I know it was only for a moment. Either I needed something from them or they needed something from me. We work with each other. Like I said, you can learn something, but when it's not going right for you, you got to walk away. And this is not just male-female relationships that we're talking about. We're talking about relationships all over the world, because we tend to always just sit back and talk about, oh, the male should be doing this and the female should be doing that. No. It's not just about the male and the female should be doing. It's about your body of work, your work. What are you called here? What's your purpose as an individual? Are you using your better judgment in life? Are you feeling something in your gut where it's not right for you? Are you using your sixth sense where you picking on some other energy, like your hands are powerful and they're shaking at that moment, and that something is not right. You picking up on some energy flow, some vibration. We have to learn how to tap into those things. We have to know when it's time to walk away from something. Okay, I'm not preaching, y'all. I'm not preaching. I just felt it in my bones to come on today because of, even with this election thing, you know, and I don't really like talking politics because it's a drainer. And especially this year, it's draining. Although I listen to a lot of stuff about it, and it's only certain people that have conversations I can listen to. When somebody's sitting around watching news all day, and you dealing with somebody that's watching the news, that's all they watch. They don't know how to share their time. They don't know how to share things that they have. You know when it's time to go, because they're not even compromising with you. They're not compromising with your time. They may want to see you, but they don't know how to compromise. So you have to walk away from those things that are not doing you any justice. And don't worry about the phone calls. Don't worry about giving a phone call. You walk away and just know something better's coming for you. Something better's coming for you. Something better. We need a country song on that. Something better's coming for you. Yeehaw! I'm just playing. But anyway, but like I said, y'all, tap into it. Don't be afraid to do your work. Your work. We got election. It's draining. You know, it's taking all of everybody's energy. Be careful what you ask for, because you never know what's coming. You know, I think I ain't for nobody. Okay, I'm just saying, I'm for me. I tell people I'm for me. It don't even matter who wins. You don't see billionaires, millionaires tripping off a lot of this stuff like that. It's always the people that need the money that's looking for a leader. You looking for a leader for what? Lead yourself, baby. Lead yourself. Gosh, we look for so many people that we want to lead us. We got to lead us. We got to lead ourselves. You can't be a leader looking for a leader. You just can't. You got to tap into your own leadership. At work, you got people that's leaders that shouldn't be leaders. And I know a lot of us talk about it all the time. Man, that person shouldn't even be a supervisor. They don't know X, Y, Z. They don't know, but you still looking for somebody outside of you to lead you, and you can't lead yourself. We have to learn. That's my favorite word today, to tap into your superpower. You matter. You matter. This election is rigged, y'all. This stuff is, man, look, I don't like having those conversations. It's like beating a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? It's like beating a dead horse. Be for yourself. We talking about this person gonna win, that person gonna win. I'm for this person, I'm for that person. What that person giving you? You can only be the one to give yourself everything that you want to give you. That person is an addition to what you want to give yourself, in a sense, because most likely they can't give you everything that you want. And you can tap in to get yourself some of the things that you need and want, but you can't tap in and give yourself every single thing. That's why sometimes we do have to make sure we have a partner or what have you, because sometimes, we balance each other. We're balancing each other to some degree. And if that partner ain't working for you, now I'm talking about relationship, that partner ain't working for you, then you know to move on. You got to move on. You might have a better partner waiting for you. You might not, because it might be something that you got to learn. I'm not afraid to say it. Hey, I learned many things. If I did not learn anything and I'm still not learning something, I say I shouldn't be here. I'm not going to discredit myself and say I have everything covered. I always wake up in the morning, I'd be like, hey, and I call my universe sister. I'd be like, sister, look out for me. Sister, you got my back. Hey, look out for my children, look out for my family. I got somebody I can relate to that's somewhere around. I don't know who it is. I just know that, hey, some type of deity, right? That's there. I'm looking to help me, to give me a helping hand, to cover me. And I just made up my own name because that's something I'm familiar with. Other people call it Jesus. Some people call it whatever, whatever name you have. We be fighting over the smallest stuff. It's like, why? And we don't even know where things really come from, how they exist, how, how does this guy listen to? He say people don't even know how grass grow. I don't know about that. I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example. We don't know how things happen. We don't know the real story of how things really occur. Some stories can start just by speculation. And we don't even know. But if you use your discernment and you tap into your sixth senses, hey, all you can worry about is where you come from and who you are and what you made out of. We know we have to drink water. We know we have, in order to live, we have to eat healthy. We have to eat things that our body will agree with. We're molecular structure of star with some stardust. We know those things, right? I mean, some of us do. I mean, and that I just know. Look, we need sunlight. This is how we grow, internally and externally. So we don't have those things that's feeding us by, given by nature. Then of course we may not last. You definitely need to have water. You definitely need sunlight, or you will go berserk. You try staying in the dark throughout the day and out, you will be depressed. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm, like I said, I'm no pastor. I've lived my life. Nobody can tell me otherwise about my life. Nobody, if I don't believe in something, I don't believe in it. And just take how I feel about it. I don't believe in that. I'm just not, hey, I don't believe in it. If you believe in it, then that's you. But it doesn't mean I have to believe everything you believe, and it doesn't mean you have to believe everything I believe. If I'm giving you information, something came to me to say, share this information with somebody. If I share that information with somebody, they choose not to take it. Okay, so be it. Some people feel like you're trying to force stuff on them. Sometimes we're just so happy and passionate about things. We want to share these things with people, and when you get, let down to a point where, people are like, hey, why do you keep trying to, throw this down my throat? Then you got to give up. You got to let them figure it out. Some people are not ready for your info. I had to realize that too. I was so happy in the past to share stuff that I've learned and heard, with somebody. It's like, hey, no, I'm not ready for that. Okay. I had to learn, step back, relax, let them figure it out. When this pandemic started, I was sharing years before, I was sharing information with people about health. Sometimes, like I said, you get people that's interested. People be like, hey girl, what's that lipstick you wearing though? I like that lipstick. Where you get that from? I like that hat you wearing. Where you get that from? You can talk about Atlanta Housewives. Girl, did you see that Atlanta Wives episode? Girl, you saw them fighting? Yeah, I saw that too. But when it comes time to share certain knowledge with people that you've learned, like what to eat, what might not be good for you, and you're just sharing this info. People don't want to hear that. They want to hear about Atlanta Housewives. They want to hear about your fashion, your lipstick, your makeup. That's why makeup and all that stuff, all these videos online are so big, because everybody, this guy called it fake up. He said everybody want to wear fake up. All the women want to have on all the fake up, want to know how they can get a man, want to know how this and that. It's like I'm not going to say I haven't looked at some of those videos. I've watched it. That's how I know the number's high. But I'm saying, like, I don't watch makeup videos because I don't need all that stuff all over my face. Like, I use the brush, a little bit of powder, I'm done. Mascara, lipstick, that's it. I don't need to know how to put a wig on. I don't do those. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I said, I've seen the numbers. I'd be like, why these numbers so high? People watching makeup. What's the big deal with makeup? I'm trying to figure that out. But I have to understand what it's all about. It's about the look. It's about the attraction. It's about what people want to capture. butt lifts and all that stuff, all tummy tuck, all them videos have high numbers, high ranking numbers. When it comes to knowledge of self, people not, you might have 1,000 something, little bit over triple, double numbers, 20,000, 30,000, maybe if that. You don't see those have millions of likes and whatever. I just say, look, some of us, we just into some of the most I don't even know. We just into stuff just because we want to look good. But learn how to take care of your inner body, because it seeps out to your outer body. Let's work on how we communicate with each other. Let's work on us as individuals. And when we work on that, a lot of other things will come. A lot of other things will follow, and we'll become better people. We'll become better people. The pandemic and politics is crazy. The pandemic and politics is crazy. It goes hand in hand. You sitting there watching news all day, every day, you're going to be a part of the bullshit. Okay? I'm going to say that. We're going to be part of the bullshit. So we have to learn to have discernment, use our six senses, y'all. And let's be great people. Let's be great. I know everybody can't follow none of that. And I ain't looking for followers for that. I'm looking for people to tap into who they are. Tap into you. You are fabulous. Tell yourself, I'm fabulous. I'm amazing. I'm great. Put those little, clippings on the wall so you'll know, little post-it notes that, hey, this is what I am. And nobody can take that from me. And when you walk outside, you don't need all that fake up and so much of it anyway, because it shouldn't take you an hour to get your face ready. An hour? If you're going to like a ball or something, I can see that. But everyday work, no. Man, get out of here. That's enough. All right, y'all. This is the Key to J Reveal show. And we'll be back next Thursday. I appreciate you guys. Remember, discernment, six senses, superpower. I am a superhero. No, y'all, I got superpower though. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later.